Hello, nice to have you all back on the Healthy Doubt blog on the Common Sense channel. Today's topic is called Training the Mind, and this is a continuation of a written post which was there on the healthydoubt.blogspot.ae website. Now, all of these topics, I don't try to give you any clickbait. I don't try to present them to be more interesting than they may be by themselves. What I try to do is I try to give it to you exactly the way I see it. There's no extra effort to get you to watch. So, this topic, this was a post I did last year in June, and it was called Four Ways That Knowledge Enters Your Mind. By the way, shout out to the person who sent me this nice comment. I saw it now because I don't have notifications for comments enabled. But anyway, yes, nice anonymous comment. Thank you so much. And getting back to this, so this post, Four Ways That Knowledge Enters Your Mind, was about the way that knowledge will just come to you. And today's post is about what you can do about that knowledge, the way it's coming to you. In this way, today's post sort of builds on that. So we'll just recap the four ways that knowledge enters your mind. So the first of these is direct experience of reality. Direct experience of reality is exactly what it says. It is how you directly experience reality. For example, today if you meet your friends, you inquire about the health of their health and the health of their families. If you tried doing this in another civilization which was more warlike, which was more in the olden days, you ask a person about how their family is, how they might get suspicious of you. They might wonder, why is he trying to inquire about my family, things like that. Today, you know it's a good idea to take a bath every day. If you go to the Middle Ages in England, it was not a good. It was thought to be a very finicky thing that you wanted to take a bath every day. And so this is a certain kind of knowledge that you have, how you interact with people, how often you should take a bath, things like that. This is direct experience of reality as reality is today. Now, the second way that knowledge enters your mind is through the concepts that you repeat. This can be academic concepts, this can be moral concepts, this can be prayer. Supposing you have an idea, this can be a philosophy of life. Supposing you have an idea that you need to be humble and you need to be kind, you will tend to say this to yourself throughout your lifetime, that yes, I have to be kind, I have to be kind, I have to be nice to people. You will say this to yourself. These are the concepts that you repeat. And this is the second way that knowledge enters your mind. Now, the third way that knowledge enters your mind is it is knowledge that is sought by you. This is your curiosity. This is what you are interested in. So, if we say that most people are interested in money, and I tell you that I can help you make more money, I immediately have your attention. If I tell you I can improve the quality of your life, you are not so interested because you have already concluded that quality of life comes from money. And so, this is what you are interested in. And so, the knowledge that you seek is knowledge about making more money. Now, the fourth way that knowledge enters your mind is undercover knowledge, which, as I mentioned in the written post, also, this is my favorite type of knowledge. This is from movies, OTT platforms, television series, books, and YouTube channels, and novels, etc. Whatever you, newspapers, everything. There is a certain undercover knowledge that is there in all of them. It can be the depiction of alcohol, the depiction of sex, the depiction of fashion. All your knowledge about all these things comes to you as undercover knowledge when you're actually watching something for a different entertainment value. But you learn concepts about these things anyway because of the way they are depicted. The your knowledge about marriage also, all things really, everything, the way it is shown to you in all these things, that forms undercover knowledge. Now, out of these four types of knowledge, or these four ways that knowledge enters your mind, you know that you can't really affect reality, you can't change reality, so you can't do anything about that. And you can't really affect undercover knowledge. You cannot affect what somebody else is showing you as part of popular culture, so you can't really affect that. But these two things, the concepts that you repeat and the knowledge that is sought, these two things are completely in your hands. So if you wish to train your mind, it is through these two things that you can train your mind. Now, all knowledge has a kind of structure. This is from my book, the Jnana Yoga book, which is here. You can see the book here, this portion. And this book talks about the structure of knowledge as a board pin. It's not referring to one person's knowledge, but all knowledge. This is something I say in the book. But yes, one person's knowledge can also look like this kind of a board pin. Knowledge that is sought, that is this type of is forms the top of the pin, and all other types of knowledge, that is the concepts that are repeated, the direct experience of reality, and the third thing, the undercover knowledge. This it forms this part. It forms this part, which is your identity. Now, in the book, I tell you many interesting things. Let me move my head somewhere there. I tell you many interesting things. I tell you how you can gain knowledge in a formal way through degrees, or you can get it in an informal way through years of experience. And I tell you how all knowledge accumulates, and then it forms this kind of pattern in your mind. And this is of course, all metaphorical. It's all structure. It's a way of understanding why it is there. And this is also one of the reasons that awareness is important, because if you understand the knowledge is structured like this, then you can choose what to learn and what not to learn and what to unlearn and things like that. And if you can have this awareness, you can also do something that's more interesting. Like you go to the gym and you can structure your body through exercise and watching what you eat. You can similarly structure your mind in a similar way by choosing what you consume, what you do not consume. You can shape your mind in the same way as you can shape your body. Now, what is the best way that you can train your mind? According to me, the best way is, if you remember your classroom from school, kind of like this blog on YouTube. You remember you went to class, your teacher would show you something, you would probably get bored in the process, you would ask questions, you would get a clarification, you would rethink certain things, you would dwell over certain concepts, and that's how you would learn something. That's how we trained your mind, by you going to school repeatedly for years together. The essence of a class was not your ability to pay attention for 30 minutes or 40 minutes straight, but that you were in the same place. And during that time, you also got bored. This was a very important aspect of training your mind. Why boredom is so important is, you need to remember this. In the moment that your mind gets bored, it has only two possibilities. Either it will slip into a daydream like situation, or it will spark something creative. This is why I also say relax and don't fear the gaps. It is in those gaps that something very interesting is taking place. Now you might be able to remember some good students from your class. They always were interacting with the teacher. They always had a new thing to add. They always had insights. Where did those insights come from? It came from the gaps. In those gaps that the classroom had, their mind was able to spark something. Similarly, you'll also remember the students who were daydreaming in class. Those were the minds that got bored and dissociated from the class. And I mean, if you have people who actually fell asleep, then I can tell you, you attended class with some absolute legends. You can also think of training the mind as flying a kite. So, a gust of wind is like information that your teacher is saying, and it pushes your kite in one direction. Then there is a gap. This gap is very important, but the kite readjusts. A gap between two gusts of wind is that moment where something creative can happen. And the period of readjustment is the magical moment. I also go over this in more detail in one of my other books, in I think it's the Book of Death. But yeah, I go over this over there as well. Now, something very interesting happened at some point in our lives, and it was that not finding a good place for this. Okay, and it was that a classroom should be presented as being something entertaining, or that knowledge should be presented as entertainment. The essence of entertainment is that we don't let you get bored. A good teacher is one who is entertaining. This became a concept. It became a concept because this reduces the number of people daydreaming in the class. It makes more people pay attention. But there is the one problem with the entertainment is that knowledge can be presented as entertainment, yes, sure. But nonsense can also be presented as entertainment, and propaganda can also be presented as entertainment. In other words, if you seek entertainment, you can find any of these three things. So, when you are not curious, when knowledge is not being sought, at that time you are just scrolling the internet. This entertainment can begin to substitute for all four ways that knowledge enters your mind. Undercover knowledge, of course, you know how entertainment can definitely give you undercover knowledge. That's kind of the whole point. The knowledge that is sought and the concepts that you repeat, entertainment can replace this by having an algorithm figure out what you are interested in rather than you actively saying what you are interested in. And then it can give you disinformation. Entertainment can also ruin things to such a degree that it affects your direct experience of reality. How does it do this? It's very difficult to You may think, at least I would have thought at one point, that it's very difficult to affect direct experience of reality. But you've heard of something called almond milk. The almond is a nut. It doesn't give any milk. Only mammals give milk. But the value of pushing things to you undercover is so high that routinely this word has entered your vocabulary called almond milk. It's okay for people of our generation. We saw it come, but when you think of children who are seeing it as a normalized thing on supermarket shelves that there is something called almond milk, this is affecting their direct experience of reality. Direct experience of reality is getting populated by nonsense or getting populated by misinformation. In short, the internet is explicitly training you in a way that is disconnected from common sense and into nonsense. This is why I tell you in one of the previous videos that children need to be introduced to the internet with the same caution and training that a person learns to drive a car with. But what can you do about it now? Maybe it's already too late for you. I'm reminded of this quote by the Buddha, which says, "A guarded mind brings happiness." What does he mean by it? Does he mean that you should put a guard outside your mind as if it's a castle? Actually, yes, he means exactly that. But he's saying this Buddha is around 3,000 years ago. 3,000 years ago, this was wisdom. What can you do about it today? Well, today I can tell you the same thing in two different ways. The first one is you can focus very hard on knowledge that is sought. You need to address your curiosity. You need to really find out what you are curious in and search for that on the internet, or search for stuff related to that on the internet, because only then will you find, or will you have chances of finding knowledge. You will still find misinformation and disinformation, but you will have chances of finding knowledge also. Or number two, the second option is self create periods of intentional boredom, also known as meditation. This is meditation being told to you in a very poor way. I'll not probably do a video on meditation also later. I'll give it to you in a more scientific, more proper way. But this is the other thing you can do. These are the two ways that you can handle it today, given that there has already been a lot of bombardment of your mind by nonsense. The Buddha is still relevant today, uh, but yes, you need to figure it out this way. It's much better. If you want to know more about mine, more details, of course, you can get my book. You know where to get it also. This is on that group. Thank you for watching. Take care.